Welcome back to Gamechanger. So this is a very dope tutorial. It's a difficult haircut, so I think this can be a very helpful. Did I say tutorial already? I'm gonna just double that up. Yeah, a very helpful tutorial. So nestle up, buckle up, and enjoy the voiceover. All right, bro. Let me lock in. All right. Sorry about that. I'm back. So what makes this a difficult haircut is because the graduation of the taper has a very small space to be performed, but it's literally going from skin to thick hair. All right, so before we get too deep into the haircut, I want to let you know the tools that I'll be using to perform this haircut. As you can see, the Gold Magic Clip Cordless Edition, the Stylecraft Sabers, the Walls Vapor, and I'll be using the Babyliss FX, the Blue Edition. So, and I have a link below if you want to go shop and get those clippers. They're all really good clippers. So as you can see here, when I had those sabers, I put the primary line in. That line separates the skin from the hair. Then I came back with my magic clip and did the secondary line, which separates the light hair from the dark hair. When you're doing a haircut like this, it's very important to section it and take your time so it'll be a neat workspace. Now what you're seeing me doing is debulking. Now, I want to stress, this is the scary part. So when you're doing the fro, you got to be very patient and be careful when you debulk. Actually, a lot of barbers don't debulk. So when you don't debulk and you just go in and try to start fading or transitioning that hair, you find yourself pushing that thickness up, and it's not really a transition. You're just creating a higher line. And then you step back and you look at the haircut and you're like, oh man. And it went from a low taper to a high taper to you got to just leave it because that bulk and density, it has no separation. So what you want to do is debulk. I would suggest starting with, I say a 2 guard just to feel comfortable. It'll take off a little bit of that mass at a time. Then you come back with the 1.5 guard to thin it out. So as you can look right here, so right now I'm doing like this reverse tiger claw method, and all I'm doing is debulking because I know that my fade is gonna be right there where that secondary line is, right where that dark and that light hair separates. But I need to make that super thin so that way I don't find myself pushing that taper higher and higher. Another small key tip that a lot of barbers may leave, especially younger barbers, is they don't debulk behind the ear. So you may have a very smooth taper right on the side of the temple, but then right behind their ears, like this thick mass of hair that just it isn't conducive to a beautiful fade. So we want to debulk all of that as well. So again, right here, I'm tiger claw, I'm pulling that hair down. I want to separate it. And this is a very important place to, when you're tapering the fro, do not use a brush because a brush clumps the hair even more. A comb keeps the hair separated in this growth pattern so you can kind of get a real actual look at what that fade will look like. So it's funny, I'm just now starting to actually transition or fade this together. That was all debulking. Do you see how much debulking actually helped that come together? And I'll do the same thing on the edge up because I love to use a razor on the edge up, but I want to pull and debulk all that mass out of the hair. The biggest thing when doing a fro is to remove the mass, right? The more mass you remove, the smoother your transition can be. Like if I was to just go right into this and just start to cut and fade, not saying it's not possible, but it'll be much more difficult to give it a smooth look. Now I do the same thing in the back. Set my primary line, which is the line that separates the hair from the skin. Then I do my secondary line. Now, it's very important also, you want to keep the shape of the fro so that way when you come towards the end, it'll give that nice microphone look. So we want to make sure our taper stays nice and smooth. Remember, everything is based off of your guidelines. So the shape of this taper, the shape of this fro, it all is going to transition into one piece. That's what makes a beautiful haircut, right? So it should go straight into the skin on his neck, straight into the thickness of the crown of his head. It all should flow, if that makes sense. And again, I'm using my comb. So I would say that, so that's the first line that I put in with the edgers or the trimmers, primary line. Secondary line was put in here with the magic clip. So remember, primary line, secondary line, and now I'm debulking that primary line into the secondary space. I say this so many times in my video, but for a haircut like this is very important. And then after I fade this line in, right, and I take it higher, but I literally just want to fade that line away, erase it. Now I'm debulking so that I can actually start that secondary line to transition it or fade it blend it all together. And you know, when you're debulking a fro, man, take your time. This is the most important part, to be honest. Because again, if you leave this too dense, if you leave it too dense around the areas where you're going to fade, that's where you run into trouble. And again, stay patient. A fro is one of those haircuts that it all comes together at the right time. And I know sometimes as barbers we cut off a confidence. So when we start to see it all come together, it actually makes you, I believe, cut better because you feel better. But with a fro, take your time, follow the steps, even if it's not looking like you think it should look. Stick to the steps and watch how it turns out. All right, so again, just debulking, and I'm gonna walk you through it again. I debulk into that secondary line, which is the line right here that I'm combing, is not as dense, it's thinner. As you can see, it looks thinner right now. And again, even as I'm debulking, I'm keeping the shape because when it's time to shape his hair up at the end, what you see me do with the Walls Vapors, I love those clippers, by the way. It'll keep that microphone a circular shape. You don't want the back to be thick, the top to be thick, and the sides to be thin, or the sides to be thicker, the top to be lower, and the back to, you want a nice round contour shape to the head. All right, so now I'm taking the one guard and I'm debulking. So what I did in the video was I went 1.5 against the grain with the grain tiger claw method. I'm doing the one guard, and then I'm gonna do a 1.5 guard. They look very similar. Then I'll come through, I believe, with the Babyless FX, and then I'll bring right here. I'm bringing it all together. So another thing I want to spotlight: Chance has a lot of growth patterns. His hair grows out towards his ears on both sides, except for in the middle, it grows down. Use the corner of your blade to kind of go against that. So it's like a C cupping motion you can do at times. But again, watch my offhand. I'm hitting so many notes at one time. I only got 13 minutes, but I'm stretching the skin from the top of the head and from the bottom of the neck. So as you can see, sometimes I grab the nape of his neck and I pull the skin down. And then I'll do the exact same thing with my other hand and I'm pulling his crown up. So all I'm doing is trying to tighten that skin because I can get their hair to come off easier. Also, when you use high quality clippers like these, right? All of these clippers are high quality. Every last one of these clipper brands have really good clippers. You do not have to be as aggressive with the what is it called? The pressure that you apply to the skin with the blade or the clipper. Let the clipper do its job. Because when you press too hard, sometimes you cut too much, or you press too hard, and the clipper has too much pressure applied to it, so it may not cut as smooth. Be very light. Look at my right hand, the hand that's holding the clippers. My hands are very loose. I got my thumb on top, 4 fingers on the bottom, but I'm not choking the clipper. So you all watch. I think it's coming together very beautifully. And when it's time for the edge up, which I think is going to be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. Okay, here we go. All right. So now I'm gonna see this is another way. I'm taking that mask off the edge up. You ever edged up a client with a fro, but you kept it super thick and then their hair curled over so it didn't look like a really sharp line? What you want to do is take off some of that bulk. Everything is about bulk, right? Details. So I'm taking the bulk off, go around the ear, and now look at that edge. It looks super crisp and sharp. Even when he washes his hair won't hang over the edge up. So it's little details you want to think about the client when they go home. Now, could I have finessed this to where after I showed him the mirror or showed his dad the mirror, it looked good, but what happens when they go home? I want this cut to last them 3 to 5 days. All right. So using the corner of the blade, hitting those areas, blah, 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 blah. I was my wife looking at me like, oh my God, take your job serious. All right, so yeah, also I'm stretching the skin. Then I come back and I take the lens. Oh, shout out to the Gamechanger Premium Shave Gel with the hello. All right, so debulk the edge up again. All right. Again, I don't want their hair hanging over. I apply the best shave gel in the world. Go shop GameChangerCosmetics.com and I'll buy you some right now. All right, holiday sale coming soon. Then yeah, I just take the blade. If you all watch my YouTube tutorials, you know I'm a blade guy. You see that smile? He just kind of cracked with the side of his mouth because that gel feels so good. So does that blade on his edge up. And then I just follow his natural curve. So I know the new thing is to make the edge up shoot. I mean, he can't stop smiling. The new thing on the internet is to make the edge up super sharp which means pushing it back. I like to keep it super natural because, like, again, I think about 3 to 4 days when it's growing back. Is it gonna grow back with finesse, smoothness, or is it gonna grow back hard and harsh? I like the first one. Then I just stretch the skin from the top and bottom. A razor always works better when the skin is tight. That's why I pull from the top and the bottom. And I just follow his natural edge up. But again, that shave gel makes it super easy, keeps the hair moist, keeps the skin moisturized. I think it's a beautiful shave gel. Beautiful. Let's make shave gels great again. All right, y'all. I'll be back towards the end when it's time to shape up. See you later. So little details to get the edge up to last longer is going back and clean it up. I go against the grain, get those little hair shafts off, and keep it nice and neat. Always, pro tip, after the haircut is completely done, you go back and clean up little misnomers. I hope that was a good word to use right there, or little key details or missed spots in the edge up. And yeah, now here comes the most important part, which is another most important part, is the shape up, right? Shaping up a fro is so important. It's imperative to take your time. Now, I love to lay the back of the clipper blade on the scalp flush, and I just smoothly, neatly follow the shape of the client's head, right? I look at the shape of the edge up, right? I look at how the ears flare out because I want that fro on the side to flare out with the ears, meet at the top. This is an art. It takes time. Now, some people prefer to do this with shears. You can use shears, but I love to use the clipper first because you can knock off more at a time. Then you come back and do the detail work. But also, there's two ways to do the front of a fro. You can have it hang over a little bit, or you can have it go straight up, straight into the round look. I love that microphone type fro, so I don't do the hangover as much unless it's requested, right? Take your time. You don't have to worry about the clipper flip. That takes time and knowledge. Just joking. And I just come back and I take my time and I shape and sculpt. Don't rush. As you shape and sculpt, comb out and reshape. I know sometimes it can be like, damn, I just shaped this up. And you can honestly comb this out a million times and shape it a million times. 3 or 4 times is super solid just to get a nice look, a nice shape. And then I come back with my shears, man, and I think it's looking really good. Hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. Stick around for his reaction. I believe I got his reaction. Man, give me a like and a follow and a share. Share this, man. Let's get these numbers back into the algorithm, or these videos back in the algorithm. Appreciate y'all. Game changer out. You gonna be all, come on, there we go. Gotta show that handsome smile. You like you hate me today. I'm tired. I know it's been a long.